ladies. Happy Friday.
Hey.
Hey, can you tell we're worn out? Livy's not worn out. She's had a week off.
Uh-huh.
Woo woo.
I've been so unproductive, but it's good.
It's okay. That everyone needs that. That's why we get these breaks. Make sure I have my notes close.
I'm about to have my fall break this Monday and Tuesday.
You have Monday, Tuesday. Okay, so you do get somewhat of a full break. That's good.
And then
weird.
Wednesdays are like planning days.
Oh, okay, that's good too. I always like having an extra day for planning. So I guess it's going to look a little different I guess Hannah and I can talk about what we taught in math, and then y'all can talk about how your math and movement lessons went. Last time we talked, you guys we're starting to get ideas going, and we're going to end up teaching those lessons. So which of y'all want to go first? How'd those lessons go? What'd you end up doing?
I can go first. So I took kind of y'all's idea about writing in chalk with the skip counts because we are finding common denominators to add fractions. And my students loved it. They were like, can we do this more often? Blah, 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 blah. But I think it really, truly helped them to see like the same numbers on each. And a lot of them started seeing like, oh, look, we can continue going further down and finding other equivalent or common denominators, which are just equivalent fractions.
Right.
Did
the number of jumps have to do with what number they would have to multiply to get them equivalent?
Yes. But I don't think I explained that well enough because some of them got it and then others had to go back and like still count.
They more were just like, hey, your 12 matches my 12. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Some were like doing splits, touching both numbers. They were having a time.
Yeah. They do love movement, don't they?
Yes. And they did well on that on their quiz. Like they could understand how to get that. My other one did not go as well, but it was the Friday before we got off of fall break. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I had them create a number line, which hindsight, I will do that before next time. But I had them create a number line 0 to 5 on parchment paper. And what they had to do is show we're adding mixed numbers. So like 1 2/4 plus 2 3/4 or whatever. And I got them to decompose the fraction. So I let them start on whatever fraction they wanted. So if they wanted to start on the 1 2/4, they could start there, or they could start on whatever they're adding. And then decompose the other fraction into the 1 and then 2/4. So the big numbers, they just got to walk forward or they could sidestep forward. And in the fourths they had to jump, they had to do a certain movement. I got them to do cross crawls, like put your knee. It went okay. I think they were all just like, why are we doing this?
That also sounds really hard. I'm trying to think of ways you could like do better with it. Kids already like basic number lines. Especially, I mean, not basic number lines, but fractions on a number line. I could see that already like having to pre-teach. Remember how you separate, 0 through 1, and if you want it to be fourths, it's got to have 4 spaces, but not 4 lines, 3 lines. That makes 4 spaces. You know what I mean? Like back it all. I mean, all the things and you realize that the more you teach, you're like, oh yeah, that's going to confuse them, and it shouldn't, but it does. There's going to be a kid that's confused. And then if you're, doing a mixed number, then okay, go past the 1, but you need to have a 1 and a 2. And between that, you need to have also 4 spaces. And so if I'm doing one whole,
yes,
I totally see how your lesson,
Which I did try to make it easier where they were always adding like an 8th, or so they only had to split it into 8ths.
Okay.
But still, having them create the number line just blew their mind.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a good challenge.
Yes, they got to it, but it took 20 minutes just creating the number line and like 5 minutes for them to actually do the movement.
Yeah. So like this week at least, like it was pretty chill because it's like obviously the week before their like fall break, so like I kind of just had to basically not compromise, I guess, like improvise. I couldn't think of the word.
Yeah.
But like they just did coloring sheets this week of like where there was like adding and then so then if it equaled 4, they would have to color it that color or whatever. but like I would notice like one of my kids, like they would get like really hyper just because that's how they are. So I would be like, okay, I involve movement by saying like, okay, do 10 jumping jacks, and then, like I'd have them count to 10 like by doing jumping jacks.
Mhm.
And when they were doing the sheets, the coloring sheets, we were teaching them to use their hands because their fingers, because it was only up to 10. So we would just teach them how to, count.
So
like
it was add within 10.
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like when they see it, like when they're like 1, 2, 3, and then they're like, okay, now how many fingers do you have? And then they'll count their fingers.
Right. I feel like
Count their
that's
fingers.
more concrete. And when they get a little bit more advanced, you can say, okay, we'll start with, say it's 5 plus 7. You're going over 10. You don't have enough fingers. You could put 5, say we start at 5, put 5 in your head, and then you count
Mhm.
on. So you're starting, but that is, they have to have that more concrete down before you can go, okay, 5's in my head. Now I can go 6. Cause they see 1. So if you're saying now 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, until their fingers just,
Yeah.
that's more of an advanced strategy. I could see that as being tricky.
Mhm.
Did it help them to have the movement?
I think they also liked the coloring sheet too, because it was just like okay, you have to finish this section of the coloring sheet, because like I wasn't gonna make them do the whole thing and then color it, because I knew that they wouldn't have had enough time during the week anyway to get it done. So I'm like, okay, if you finish the problems at this section, then you can color. So then they'll be like, oh, okay, like
Yeah.
So like it was almost like a reward system. It was a reward system without it being like a reward. Like
kids love good coloring. Do they have some of your students struggle with fine motor? So like being able to hold a pencil, pen, color within the lines, cut within the lines, that kind of stuff. Do any of them
then we also I differentiated by like having like other coloring sheets that just had that already just had the numbers on there, so they didn't have to like add the numbers. So like one of our kids is like in a wheelchair, so like he can't really write that well, and so it's like it's hard for him to write like he can't write numbers, but he can color. So be like, okay, let's color the 3 purple, because he knows his numbers.
Knows them.
He knows but it's just more so like he can't write them.
Mm-hmm.
So like he can color something like color 3 like purple.
Yeah. You have to find the way that you're going to be able to get to them at their level and what their capabilities are, if it's physical,
Yeah.
I was just curious if some of your kids have OT, occupational therapy.
And we'll do it with them too. Like I'll sit next to them too and be like, and like do hand over hand.
Yeah.
But like that kid, like specifically, because he tries to do everything, like he tries to do it on his own too, because he can. Because we're building up his like that fine motor skill, like because he has like he has cerebral palsy, so like he can build up the strength in like his hand, like in his arms, and like so.
Yeah, you have to work on those skills, and they have to think really hard to be able to do the things that we don't think of to be able,
So
easy.
We'll be like, do this because I know him, so and I know I'm like, okay, you can do that. So because sometimes he'll make someone else like do it for him. And I'm like, no, you can do it. Nope.
Yeah, I've got quite a few of my special needs kids that they don't get OT. Most of them have aged out, or just like they've met their goals in occupational therapy by the time they get to 5th grade. Although I had one still have it last year, but he was functionally a lot lower than everybody else in my class. He still got OT, but yeah, they just can't keep up as fast as the notes and the things as their other kids, and so they get that learned helplessness of being like, can you just write it in for me? And if I have a para support in my room, and the para, helps them. Sometimes it's like, hey, are you on the right word? Or tells them how to spell it, or keeps them on, focused. And sometimes the para just gives them a break and helps them, but they like to take advantage of that. For sure.
I only do that when if he's like really getting upset, and I'm like, okay, I'll help you because I see you're getting frustrated. Like, I'll help you this time.
Yeah, you got to kind of realize when the triggers are coming, and it's like, let's intervene.
Yeah.
Let's see. I did not teach last week because I was gone this week. Okay, so the week before break, I was doing metric measurement, and that's what kind of my movement lesson was, that base 10 system. So having to go from metric, which is so concrete, and just like you're moving the decimal left to right, whether you're dividing or multiplying, because it's a base 10 system, and you have to memorize kilo means 1,000, and it's, to me, it's not complicated. And then to jump into customary this week and try to get it all done in 1 week, which is what Pacing Guide said, to do all of customary measurement in 1 week. Keep in mind that's length, but also weight, so ounces and pounds, capacity. So you're talking about the gallons, cups, pints, all that. It was a lot. Luckily, I liked that there was a physical break in time between metric to customary. Like they had the week off to be in fall break. So like I could see kids like wanting to move the decimal around. Like if I had gone back to back, it was nice that they had like 9 days between things where they had done no math. But I had them do the same arm movements. And so like today when I was teaching, I finally was like, okay, I didn't give the quiz today. I in all reality, my plans, because I have my plans for math the rest of the year already planned out. And 'cause I don't have a curriculum, but I'm told to use the Georgia DOE units. And they kind of give you an idea of how long each thing should take. And so I've just gone ahead and paced out the whole year so I don't get behind when it comes to be ready for milestones. So I was worried. I was like, we need to move on to multi-digit multiplication next week.
Yeah.
They weren't ready. And so I talked to my co-teacher and I was like, we've got to find a way to push into at least a couple, like review today, Friday, review Monday and take it Tuesday. I can't push it too much longer, but I just didn't feel right about doing it today. And I'm really glad I made that choice because we reviewed as a class today. We'd gotten through all the state lessons that they provide. And then we're allowed to pull in our own resources. Like, it's not like we can't only use the state units, but we don't have a math curriculum. So they want us to mostly use those and we can bring in our own things. And so I had some other things we could use to practice. And I had the kids doing the hand motions and I saw a lot more light bulbs go off today where I was like, okay, we're going miles to feet. What's bigger? I'm like miles. My coach said, okay, show me with your hands. I'm like, okay, miles, feet. And they're like, okay, everybody freeze. Cause some kids for a while were like doing this with their arms, like back and like they were going from big to small and then go back out again. Like they had no idea. They're like, oh, if I just do this, she won't know if I know what operation I'm doing. I mean, it was just looking like a hot mess. And I was like, y'all, once you just decide large to small, freeze. And your body shows you the operation. And so today they were like correctly choosing the operation, whether it was division or multiplication. So I was like, okay, that's a good step. Then I reminded them that when they take the test, both on the milestones as well as the test next week when we take it, they'll be given a conversion chart. So you don't have to memorize. You should, I feel like, know that there are 12 inches in a foot by this age, but some seem stuck. But like I don't expect you to know there's 5,280 feet in a mile. You're going to have a conversion sheet. And so I was like, really, all you have to be able to do is look at the conversion, decide, is it a large unit to small unit? So then do it with your arms and you'll know the operation, or is it small to large and you'll know the operation, and then look at the connection. So if it's like a number like 5,280 and that's the number of feet, then just multiply that number times however many miles it told you. And at that point, it's just operational. But then I told the kids, I was like, math wise, technically this is a harder skill than metric because you actually have to multiply a 4-digit number times a 1-digit number, or a 2-digit number times a 2-digit number. So if I have like 15 feet and I need it in inches, then I'm doing 15 times 12. And if I'm not good at 2-digit by 2-digit multiplication yet, I may know all the steps. I may know what they may know that I've taught them to multiply and that it's times by 12, but then not going to get it right because they struggle with that. Luckily for me at this point with my kids, it's maybe a handful in each period that still make errors in multi-digit multiplication. And then some require long division. So I'm not a huge fan of customary conversions. Kids every year that it's my 3rd year teaching 5th grade have always struggled with it because it is so multi-step. It requires kind of like a lot of just cognitive ability. So yeah, I don't know. Next time we talk, of course, no, next time we talk, I don't feel like it's all the way till
November.
Yeah.
In November.
Yeah,
November.
Because we only have one more after this one, and she's got a gap for us, which is amazing because Dr. Chang, I'm sure you're watching this, or at least piecing through it. I have been so worn out from conferences. It's not even funny, and I've only been 1 week. Like any breathing moment, I'm not teaching. I'm sitting down with a parent. Like this afternoon, I made sure I didn't have any scheduled because I knew I'd be brain dead. But yeah, it's really good that we have that because I have 40 something conferences to do because of 2 sets.
Oh my goodness.
It's a ridiculous amount of time. Anyway, so positive, yay. Kids are understanding customary measurement better, but I felt like I was beating my head against the wall to get them to get there. Oh, and there was a really fun lesson we did. It was look what happened to my room. It's motion sensor lights. I've got to go turn them back on. If I sit still for too long, they turn off. Yeah, that's probably going to happen a couple times. Like if I'm too still, it just off. Okay, so one of the state unit customary measurement what's it called? Lessons that we did this week. Some of them are boring and some of them are more hands-on and like have like card like games they can like match and stuff. But there was a fun one where they had to estimate different measurements, which there seems to be like a lot of estimation so they can get some better like number sense. So that one was estimate how many centimeters are between your eyes. It was funny how wide apart they seem to think their eyes were. I'm like, guys, centimeters. Centimeters. So that was fun. So after estimating, they had to measure each other. Then they had to estimate the height of a chair in feet, the height of the door frame in yards. And then the real fun ones were like length of time to sing happy birthday. So they had to like guess how long they think the song. I'm like, don't even try to like, like do it to yourself. Like just best guess, go. And then we all sang like happy birthday to a kid that has a birthday coming up like in a week or two. To go ahead and time ourselves. And then we did it with the national anthem. So I was like, how long do you think it'll take to sing the national anthem? And then we had to measure it. And so once we did the estimates and then the actual measure things, then we converted those measurements. So it was just more fun and fun. And they like got to actually use like the tools of all the yardstick, meter stick, and they liked the timed of the like songs and stuff. I just thought that was fun. It was one I haven't done in the past. And they enjoyed it. And I thought it was pretty fun too. So those were my successes. I guess I'm kind of going through that. That was the lesson. It says share one lesson you're proud of. And I think it was the fact they got to be hands-on with tools, estimating. They just had fun. And then struggles wise, I think I talked about throughout that same thing as well, is just like, even though one kid looked at me today too, and he's like, how do you know if it's big to small or small to big? I'm like, well, what's bigger, a mile or a foot? And he's like, well, a mile. And I'm like, okay, so you do know which is bigger. So that's why I'm doing the arms like that. Like, it finally clicked for him. But all week, apparently, he thought I was this crazy lady up here doing these arm things. And then he's like, and how do you know what number to either multiply or divide by? I'm like, that's where you go to the chart. Like it's always going to be 12 inches in a foot. It's always going to be this number, 3 feet in a yard. So there was definitely light bulbs, but it was a struggle throughout the week to get there. But the success that I put down was the estimating, measuring, and then getting like saying and like convert those things. They enjoyed that a lot. And then it says, how would you go improving this area? I don't know. Sometimes it's just continued practice. Darn it. How many other ways can I say it, guys? And today, I mean, we want to handhold them sometimes. I mean, they were on their own when it came to like the guessing and measuring. And when we did the conversion part of the like, once they actually measured between their eyes and we got, centimeters, then we then converted it into meters. Like I helped them with the conversions, but today I was able to kind of back off more and be like, okay, now work at your tables, like work with each other. Someone at your table surely knows the answer, can help us figure it out. But I don't know if you guys have ideas, Livy. Have you done measurement yet?
We did not customary, metric, but we haven't done customary yet. And I remember being with you last year whenever you were teaching customary, and if it wasn't for that chart, I would not have known how to do it. So thankfully, they do get the chart on milestones.
They do. Yeah. And I keep my walls. My walls are always covered with what we're currently learning. I'm a big anchor chart person. I'm a freak. Like pretty darn often. Because I want to make sure they have the resources they need, Did y'all have feel like any big successes or things that were like, oh, thank goodness that went well? I guess, Livy, you'd have to think back to the last week. I know you said you were frustrated with the number line one. That was more your struggle.
Yeah. I will say, I really thought my students understood like the fractions, and we took a quiz, I think on Wednesday, and it was just adding and subtracting fractions. And I was like, man, we're about to have some good grades on this. No, my second class, like it was rough, and it was small errors. It was like they were adding instead of subtracting the fractions.
I was wondering because it's mixed in the same quiz.
My week was just pretty chill. It was so weird. It felt off. I'm like, you guys are a little too calm today. What's
a little too calm. Not as rigorous as maybe some other weeks. Are a little chaotic. But so you had a successful week. Yay!
The only like negative I had was just like one of our kids today. It was mostly just today. right as he got off the bus, he was like already having like a meltdown. So I'm like, oh boy, here we go.
Mm.
Like basically the whole day he was kind of like, okay, you have to be careful. Like I'm like, okay, like let's do this now. Like like during math. So it's like, but then I was able to kind of like get him to be like, okay, we're gonna just color the sheet like for me, please, like.
Get something done. You get
and-
you get the next 4 days off.
And then
Come on.
they really did like by the like today they really did understand like how to count like on their fingers, and it was like, yes, they like like
Yeah,
the
it's
especially the
always
ones that are like that need extra help, like where I'm like having to do like show them and then I'll have them do it on their hands. They were able to do it like on their own now, like
yeah.
like I
It's
would
always
tell like
nice. See.
to where like I was like I would just be telling them like, okay, hold up 5 fingers, and I wouldn't have to show them anymore.
It was good.
So I felt like that was a good progress, like
Yeah.
instead of me being like, hold up 5 fingers like this, like like
Mhm.
this, and then I just told them like, hold up 5 fingers. Now I had 3 more.
So if they're using both their hands, say they're doing 5 and 4.
Yeah.
Then what do they use to touch them to count? This hand while they're
Yeah, like they'll do this like 1, 2, 3, 4,
Okay.
5, 6. Because I would show them like too, like how I would do it
I
with
could say
them.
it's confusing. I like physical things.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually you got to move out of those things, but maybe not for those kids. I'm not sure
Yeah.
what's most appropriate for their levels and whatnot. What do you got coming up? And you just moved on before break to with ending that, right, Libby?
Yes,
Yeah.
I have no idea. I should know.
We all know you've made your plans, but your plans say page this of this manual. I will do
Right. It's like lesson 11, 12, 13.
Oh,
I know we have to subtract mixed numbers.
oh God.
Yeah.
Mixed numbers in general. Anything. There's so many fraction operations in 5th grade. Oh my God.
Yes.
Whew, okay. That sounds stressful. All right. Well, reach out if you need ideas.
Okay.
I may not have any ideas because that stresses me out. I haven't gotten fractions yet. We'll be doing fractions in like December. It does say if you're curious for new ideas or looking for some guidance, ask your peers.
Whenever you grade your quizzes on Tuesday, are you doing any partial credit? So like if they have all the operations but just multiply or wrong, is it all or nothing or?
No, I probably would give. I typically do that because if a child, like, say they know it's multiply because of this, they can figure out the unit size, and say they know even the amount to multiply by, like times 12, and then they just do something wrong multiplication wise. Since I'm trying to get them to do, I'm testing on. Do you understand the concept of changing measurement units? So yeah, for sure. And then this time when I created the quiz, I have just the basics of like this many feet equals this many, and they have to do the conversion. Like it's not these extremely in-depth questions, because I reached out to my district curriculum lady and then the principal as well, and I was like, do I have to give the Georgia DOE unit test every test? Because like the last time they took it on volume, they bombed it and like it was rough, and they were like, no, but you do need to expose it to them, and there's benefits to it, but you're not required to use. Like I'm finishing now unit 2, which was powers of 10, metric units, metric measurement, and customary measurement. And so there's obviously a unit 2 test bank I can get from. And I was looking through it and I was like, my God, they're going to die. They're going to die. Measurement's already hard enough as it is. And so I chose to make my own test. And then I included 4 of the questions that they had from the bank as what I'm going to use as extra credit. So, and I'm not going to tell them that. I don't know if I'm going to tell them that they're extra credit. I might just say that's the test. And I haven't decided yet. What do you guys think?
I think it should be extra credit.
Yeah, I think I want it to be extra credit, but my worry is if you tell a kid it's extra credit, I know 5th
They're
grade,
not going to do it.
they're not going to even
I would
try
just
it.
say it's part of the test.
Yeah, okay. So say it's part of the test, but use it as extra credit.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I was thinking.
Have you done any of them where it's like you have 5 meters and 10 centimeters and you're converting them all to centimeters?
Yeah, some
of mine, that was hard for them.
Yeah. Or like today we did like 25 hundredths, so 0.25. of a foot is how many inches? Think on that for a second, both of you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, can you come up with the answer that quickly? You can imagine as a fifth grader, they're like, wait, what? You want me to do 25 hundredths of a foot? Not, like we were working
Hundreds. Oh my!
hundredths. So you're,
I didn't
so
even
you're looking.
conceptualize what that even
So
is.
this is how I can say this is the best. I have to, think, how do I break that down? So I'm like, guys, so 0.25, that decimal is 25 over 100. Think about it like quarters. How many quarters are in a dollar? They're like 4. Okay. So 25 over 100 is 1/4. Okay. So once you get them to see 1/4, then you go, okay, let's look at a ruler stick. Not even joking. I have it right here. Here's my ruler stick, guys. I'm going to put this into 4 pieces, 4 equal pieces. I have 12. I'm going to put it in fourths. So that would be, let's see, the halfway is 6. Like they can all tell me half a foot is 6. I was like, okay, well, if we can say half a foot is 6, why can't we say what a quarter of a foot is? And so I showed them, I don't have a whiteboard. I don't have it on me. I took a whiteboard and I was like, okay, guys, I drew a circle and I was like, half of a circle. Okay. If I take my half of a circle and I half my half and I drew a line that way, what do I now have? And they're like, a fourth. And I was like, yeah, if you have half of something and that's 6, and half that half, how many inches was that? They're like, oh, it's 3 inches. I was like, okay, so 25 hundredths of a foot is 3 inches. Okay. But like the amount of steps to get to one question.
Yeah.
That's hard.
It's hard, but that's what the milestones is like. And it's just
like I feel like that wording was like as weird. Like,
no, it was. It's like, why are we?
I didn't know if it was just me because it's been a long day. I'm like, am I just not?
No, you know what it is, Hannah? I don't think our teachers use proper vocabulary. Like they wouldn't say 25 hundredths. They would say 0.25.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you can visualize that, right? You're like, oh yeah, 0.25. Okay, yeah, I know that as a decimal. It's like 25 cents. No, but like because we have to use that right verbiage, you're right. Yeah, it sounds funny, doesn't it? 25 hundredths. Then I had to like relate it to like what? Yeah, it was a whole thing.
You
Just
need
for
to go back to that.
one tiny question.
Go back to that verbiage that our teachers used to explain it to them.
I know. So anything else about your week, or you guys want to go into this unit's topic of math discourse?
Nope.
Ready or not? Here we come.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah,
Cool. All right. So what notes did you guys take down about just like the basic idea of what is math discourse?
I think it's just like talking about math with our students, just like y'all just said. Like our teachers would just say 0.25, but now it's at 25 hundredths. I really like how she said, if you can teach it, you can understand it better. I feel like this goes with any subject, but especially with math. If I can explain to you how I made it to a problem, I truly understand what I'm doing. It's not just a process I'm doing. I actually understand the reason behind that process.
Yeah, like when I was in school, I would be able to automatically, like the way I would do math in my head, I never understood how, but I always got to the answer. And then when I was reading this, when I learned how to when it was showing teaching us how to teach it to kids, I'm like, oh, that's how I did it in my head, like by breaking it down. I'm like, it makes so much sense now. And now I understand how to teach it, because at first I didn't really understand how to teach it until I read that.
And rarely, it gets better as a kid more practices it. Can they, and think about you, Hannah, when you knew how you were doing things, but were you able to verbally tell your teacher, this is how I got the answer?
Well, I couldn't explain how I got to it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Let's say it was 19 plus 12.
Yeah.
I would know it's 31. But I would just not know
you wouldn't be able to talk about the strategy.
Yeah, but now I could just say oh, okay, I just did 19 plus 11. I know that's 30, and then add 1 because I took 1 away, and now 31.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, because there was not a lot of math discourse growing up. It was the teacher talk. That's it. Teacher talk. And I see so much value in it. I feel like I'm doing it more. I've always, for the most part, I would not say I'm just a one that's up there only lecturing, but I'm really trying to, in math specifically, be better about the kids talking as much as possible. And that's why I was oh, cool, this topic's on math discourse. Awesome. That's what I'm working on. So yeah, I think like Dr. Chang said in her video, like it is talking about math. It's communicating with the students. It's leading as a teacher to help facilitate their understanding, getting them to talk. What else did I put down? I said teacher needs to work on making sure they ask open-ended questions and prompt students to reveal their strategies. Because like we said, some kids are going to have a hard time explaining how they got there. And then I liked it where it talked about like teachers, as the students are sharing and whatnot, teacher records the student strategies on the board, and then helping the students understand each other's, strategy that got them, or each other's thinking. And I made a note of the kind of questions to get them thinking are like, what do you notice about this? And I liked that very broad question. And like I think I've talked about it with the Georgia State units. There's a lot of what do you see, what do you wonder, what do you notice, what do you wonder questions, because they're so open-ended and there's such a low risk question that invites all students to share what they're thinking. And there's no fear of being wrong. Like you can literally be like, I see. And then, I think we'll kind of see that when we do the which one doesn't belong and what do you like the strategies we're doing, number talks, those ones, because they're the same kind of thing. Like you can't say something wrong. I mean, I guess you could, but it's not like as obvious because everyone's see this is what my mind is thinking about, and I like that because if you have a classroom like mine that's so mixed ability level wise, and I've got special needs kids and that it's just nice to get them to participate, because I don't want them to sit there not using their brain because they have this idea that they can't do it. And then I made comments like some like reactionary questions teachers can ask are like, well, how did you figure that out? Or you can ask about the strategies, how once you have them written on the board, how are these different, how are they the same? And then students hearing each other's conversations form connections between each other's strategies. And then they can decide, okay, is that the best strategy to use? Will that strategy always work? Is that a reasonable answer? Those kind of things. And so through that process of all this talking happening, students are kind of noticing patterns, developing shortcuts. I mean, their brains are like working off of each other, which is cool.
Yeah.
Because people think about math so differently than each other, I've noticed.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I can, like, my brain's weird. And math comes really easily to me. And so I might see something in like a super abstract way.
Yeah, that's how I always felt though too. Like when in school, I'm like, oh, I know this, but like, according to this, since I can't show you how I did it, I'm not good at math. Like, I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah. And I mean, when we're assessing, it's assessing the process to get there, and they're thinking as it gets there, not just the product. I remember teachers being like, no, if you don't show your work, it doesn't count. I don't believe you got the right answer. And I get it. You could have totally just copied off someone's paper. I get the reasoning behind though. You have to show your work.
Yeah.
And so now it's like kids can show their work, but you can be like however you want. You can draw a picture, you can draw dots, you can draw lines, you can, use numbers, you can use whatever strategy you want. But yeah, show me something. Try not to do it all in your head.
Yeah. Because like, it was just weird. Like, I'd never been able to explain it. And it was like, it was so kind of refreshing to be able to be like, that's how I did it. And it was so like, it literally blew my mind. Like, as a 23-year-old teacher, like, it blew my mind. I'm like, this is awesome.
I've even had to go up to some of my students and be like, how did you do this? Because they would just have like random numbers written down and they got to the right answer and they would explain it. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
They're like, I got the answer. Good. Cool.
That's cool. It's like, what?
Like,
That's like, God bless it. In the dark again. Every 10, 15 minutes, I don't know what the thing is. All right, so we've been talking about math discourse. So what are some key features that math discourse must have to be successful?
I feel like there's discussing, like, like after, like, like letting them do it on their own and then like discussing like how they got there, I guess.
Yeah, they have to be able
Like,
to talk to each other.
Like sharing like how
Share
they
it to
got
us.
to their answer.
They talked about, I think, like having like a safe space they can all do it, but I was like, I don't have a rug space in my room. Like,
We
Yeah,
have a
me
space in
either.
our classroom. Like, we're in a special education
y'all,
classroom.
I
We
feel
should
like
have a safe space.
Yeah, in your classroom, Hannah, it would be good because it's less kids. They can come together. And I get the reasoning behind it, like safe space. They're close together. They have to pay attention to each other. Then they can be like, yeah, I agree or I don't agree. I've seen that like before, like thumbs up, thumbs down. but I don't really have that ability. So we work with what we can.
They also talked about a lot of visuals, whether that is putting it up on the board or having anchor charts around the board so they can refer back to vocabulary and different strategies.
Yeah, I marked that one down too. Teacher,
And-
that teacher asking the right kind of questions to get things going.
Yes.
Sentence stems for those who are stuck.
Yeah.
And calling on all students. I struggle with, well, one of my students who's high in math is like, you don't ever call on me. And I'm like, because I know that you're going to have the right answer. So, like, when I need somebody to call on, I call on you. But
Yeah.
getting those that are less quiet or more quiet to answer is important in these math discourse.
I think
Yeah.
so too. And it's hard because like I don't know if we read about it or whatever, just like kids come to us, especially if you're teaching older kids, with a view of themselves as I'm either good at math or not. I'm either bad at math or I'm good at math. I have one of mine that calls herself dumb all the time, and lately she's not been doing it. And I'm like, maybe we're getting somewhere in confidence. And she's like participating more. Like you can tell when they start to get things right. And I think this math discourse, an ability for them to share things and be like, cool, I like that idea. That's a good strategy. And like kids can like build off of each other with their thoughts. Like, oh, that's an interesting way of doing it. They build each other's confidence. And really my worry was like, kids are gonna be harsh on each other if someone gets one wrong, or they're gonna be like, that was a stupid way of getting, like I've taught some kids over the years. So it hasn't been a problem this year. Unless I have a better group, or maybe they're staying more focused on the math and aren't being so mean about it. They're more open to like, oh, that's an interesting way of thinking about it. Big thing I put is one of my goals that I've been trying this year was like giving enough wait time. So, I've noticed a couple times this week, I'll ask a question. A couple kids will hear me. They'll possibly all hear me, but did they comprehend what I asked? See what I'm saying?
Yes.
So then I like see a bunch of blank faces and I'm like, let's ask that again. And I slow it down. I say it maybe a little slower, a little louder, get everyone to, and I'm like, listen, I need everyone to turn and talk and think about and have a discussion about the question I just asked. And sometimes I won't let them discuss right away. I just give them time to just think it through themselves. Then I got kids that want to yell it out, and I'm really trying to control, like, no, because that just like stole an experience from someone else by you just saying, oh, it's 12, whatever it may be. I've got a couple impulsive boys like that are really smart in math. And I'm like, that's taking away from someone else's chance. And then we had a conversation this week at some point about passive learning and active learning. I was like, guys, I totally wish I could like sit around and watch someone else work out, and I could just lose the weight and there it goes. And I didn't have to lift a finger or whatnot. So when you're sitting there and you're waiting on me to do the work for you, or a friend to do all the work for you, and all you're doing is passively like looking at the board and writing down the answer onto whatever we're currently doing, the only thing literally that you're learning how to do is copy from a board onto a paper. You're doing no math. You're not using your own brain. You're not challenging yourself. And I was like, if I want to actually lose weight or I want to get stronger, I have to physically go do it. I can't just go watch someone else do it. I was like, that's what you're doing if you're actively passively sitting around letting others do it. And they were like, oh. And I was like, you have to participate. Even if it doesn't make sense, try your best. No one's gonna like make you feel horrible if you get something wrong.
Yeah.
And so that can help with a little bit more.
At least during my student, I don't know if my screen is frozen. My face isn't moving on my end. But anyway, if it looks like my eyes are rolling, they're not. But like, when I was doing my student teaching, I would notice that like kids would like whenever I would have to be teaching my lessons, and they would just copy like down the answer. I'm like, this doesn't help you at all by you copying me. Like if you're taking the test, like
I'm not there.
I tell them like I know this already.
Yep.
I know how to do this without having to write it out because I've had to write it out so many times.
Yeah.
And
Participate.
like it's like I want to see you do it on your own. Like you're not helping yourself.
Yeah.
And I almost compared it to like riding a bike for them, like learning how to ride a bike. You don't like watch somebody else do it and then you're like, oh, I know how to ride a bike now.
I mean, part of the learning process is listening and like hearing and watching someone else. But if you don't start doing it yourself, you can't go further. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's not going to get you where you need to be. What was the other thing that stood out to me about the features? Oh, students re-explaining each other's answers. I thought that would be interesting because
Yeah.
if I can understand like the way you got it and then put it in my own words as well, then I am now furthering my understanding of different ways to get to the same
Mhm.
answer. And then I think that's what I meant by revoicing. Made notes to myself, but I think I was at the beach when I was writing this stuff down. Like, what was I thinking when I was writing this?
Hannah, did you have Dr. Bragelman as a teacher?
No.
He told us that one time he was like, if you teach it one way, like only like 50% of your students will get it. But the more you different processes you teach, the more percentage of students will get it. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with that. Like if I can do it one way, then that's cool. But if I can explain it my way and your way,
Mhm.
then it's just helping that
It
knowledge.
also
and
keeps
building that.
kids accountable for like paying attention. Like, did you
Mhm.
listen as that kid talked? Because some kids
Yeah.
just want to say what they want to say, but they don't want to listen to someone else's thoughts. And
Right.
I mean, I struggle with that as an adult. I love to talk, and I'm like, oh wait, you weren't listening to that person. Slow down. Actually, listen.
All right. That's another one of the things that she talked about was the teaching explicit behaviors. Like, what are the
Yeah.
expectations for? Sorry, there's like something in my mouth, a hair or something. Listening and talking expectations.
Yeah, that was. I don't know where I made a note on that, but that's part of it too. Yeah, this is how this works, and yeah. Okay, so how can this math discourse be beneficial? What are the benefits that kids get out of us using this?
I guess like us being able to understand like how they process their work, like how they get to the answer, instead of being like, no, you have to do it this way, like, or that doesn't make sense to me, even so, like, it's do it this way instead. I feel like that helps us understand like their like how they learn best, like what works best for them, and then we can kind of be like, oh, okay, it helps us like change how we teach them a little bit.
Yeah, I think I see what you're saying. Like, the teacher's not the ultimate authority on knowledge. Like the kids can be like, I know a way that you wouldn't have thought of, and they're
Yeah, and
able
then we
to.
can be like, oh, I didn't know that. Like, and then like you can almost be like, teach me
Yeah.
how to do this, and then they'd be like,
Uh-huh.
oh, like, because I noticed like some like when I was doing my student teaching, they would get so excited when they were like teaching me that.
Yeah, and kids love to talk. So really,
Yeah.
discourse, they get to talk.
They're like, we get to talk, and they're like, yeah, and they're like, awesome.
Yeah. Anything that stood out to you, Livy?
No, besides the fact that they get to show what they learned and then they get that confidence of like, oh yeah, I was right, or oh, I saw that too. Like when they start agreeing with certain things and just being able to have an argument.
Bouncing off what Hannah said, I made a note that when you're listening to a kid explain themselves, some kids are just like, they seem like they're getting in class and then they suck on a test. They just do. They test anxiety, whatever it may be. I don't know. So the fact through math discourse, we can almost like assess how they're doing and whether they're understanding based on if they can talk about it. And it's not test format wise. Like, I don't know exactly how that would look great. I mean, I guess you can take a participation grade. I don't know if you guys do like grades. Livy, are y'all standards based or actual grades?
Actual grades.
Okay. So I was just thinking how that would work. Like, what if a kid isn't participation, but like they're not I mean, I don't know. It's a way to grade. Maybe it's not a grade in the sense for a grade book, but like a grade in that to like make a note to self. Note to self, this child is understanding, this child is completely lost.
Because at least at our school, like we can't, like the teachers, they can't give a kid anything less than the 60.
Yeah, we can't give less than 50s.
Yeah.
And so like and then in my classroom, we base it off of like how they progress, like their progress, like off of the goal that they have, and they're like, okay, like 80% because they really did like they really good, but they can still like they still need to get closer to that goal, and then we'll do like 100 if they did reach their goal, and then we'll do another goal.
Yeah, because their goal in their IEP is probably like 80% of the time.
Yeah, I think it's like 80%, and then like 60 and so on.
Yeah.
So like that's how we kind of like we just sent home progress reports today. So
yeah, we've got ours going home. Well, report cards for quarter one go home. I had to get a bunch of grades in. I've got most of them in. put a couple more. Did I put anything else down that stood out to me? I wrote students become more aware of their thought processes when they solve, record, and have to discuss what they've solved. Like they're just more aware of how their brain is thinking. They're less, they can explain themselves better. I think I already talked about like kind of the teacher, how the teacher can guide it with different kind of questions. How is blank solution similar to blank solution? How are they different? Then the students can, I guess it's kind of redundant, honestly. I might have taken these notes for the other topic, but I kind of put them down here. I took a screenshot of the book. I think it was in Dr. Chang's like notes in the side that stood out to me. Her note, what is that? What it is? Is that her handwriting in the side of the book?
I think so.
Yeah, she and I took a screenshot of it because it stood out to me. I guess it says, "Notice she only displays 2 strategies, not all. Too many equals overwhelming." So like I was trying to like think through how to make sure this goes as well as possible. So like when you got the kids sharing, you can't have, and obviously time-wise also, like have every kid share a strategy, like 2 strategies. And then the visual, like Livy mentioned, on the board, so that kids can see it themselves. And then that also, now that visual on the board allows them to have the discussion of like, what do you see that's the same? What's different? And then she made a note under that same thing, be strategic about your strategy choice. Make sure it matches your goal or objective. So if you're working on a certain more specific strategy and a kid solved it in a completely different way, great. Maybe don't call on that kid and use that as your example to have on the board for everyone to discuss, So that stood out to me.
That also stood out to me too, because if you have more than 2, I feel like it just gets overwhelming. And you can't put that many on the board.
Yeah. I mean, that would overwhelm anyone's brain. I get overwhelmed all the time by so many things going on. Okay, then it asks, do you have any experience using math discourse or math talk when teaching in your classroom? Do your students get the opportunity to talk about how they solve the problem?
So I could go ahead and say no, because like everything is just so basic in our classroom. Like it's just like they don't understand like how to explain their thinking. Like everything's very much literal for them. Right. So it's like anything like very complex is like really hard for them to like understand.
No, yeah.
Like for them, they just know, like they just do it.
I'm gonna pull up my handy dandy trusty AI here. While you discuss, Livy, about your experience with Math Talk.
Yeah. Mine's very limited. In our book, there are some questions to ask, but a lot of them are like not necessarily right or wrong answers, but very straight to the point. There are some opportunities where it shows different strategies, and it's like, how are these similar? How are they different? Or maybe which one doesn't belong every once in a while, but not really as detailed as we've been going over in class.
Yeah. I would say I've gotten to the point where it's closer to what Dr. Chang's asking, but I'm on year 12. So, it's just, it comes with time. And it's been one of those things that I've been wanting to be more aware of, the fact that I have not done as well with it. And there's still ways I can do it better. Like when we practice the which one doesn't belong, there are some valid, I remember learning about the instructional strategy when we took the summer course. That was one of the ones that was in there for instructional models. And I hadn't tried it yet. So now it's been shown to me twice. I'm like, you have to actually go try this now.
Yes.
Okay, so let's see what AI says. It says, I wrote how to encourage math discourse and math talk for students with special needs, especially more severe special needs with especially more severe special let's say this. Okay. Especially more severe disabilities like autism and Down syndrome. Okay, let's see what this. Why can't I spell syndrome? Oh, because it's NM. I don't know how to spell syndrome. Close enough. AI is gonna figure it out for us. All right. Let's see what it says. It says leverage concrete and visual supports for communication. The foundation of discourse is a shared understanding which can be achieved through nonverbal and visual means. So you can use, obviously it says start every new concept with concrete manipulatives. Gradually move to representational, which is your drawings, charts, number lines, more visuals, and then to abstract, like your plus sign, minus sign, your symbols and equations. But when it comes to communication side of it, using you've seen like before, like the visual communication boards. I mean, like the ones that are nonverbal, they almost have like an electronic board that they can like communicate with what they need, like their needs. Do you have anybody that has one of those, Hannah?
Oh.
Like
I'm
they
sorry.
they cannot talk. They're nonverbal, but they have like a communication board where it's like literally like a programmed iPad that like a button says the word for them, and they know that like when they press the button, it says the word.
Oh, so yeah, so we have one of those kids. It's the same one that has the cerebral palsy.
Yeah.
You
Okay.
know, like he'll point, like we have a communication, like one taped to his desk, but we're
Yeah.
currently trying to get him like a communication device.
Okay.
For him.
So, yes.
But like, you know, a lot of the stuff is concrete. Like for the numbers, we'll like say like point here, like what number is it, like, you know, or like I'll like if we want the kids to say the number for him, I'll just like grab his hand, and be like, okay, trace the number. This is the number 5 as he's tracing it, or as I'm like doing like tracing it with it, like his finger on it.
Yeah, because one of the things was like use math vocabulary cards, create anchor charts or individual cards that have the term like add, less, equal, whatever word they would use in their discussion, Hannah, but like with the symbol. Because they may know that that symbol means plus, but like what if they don't know how to say that to each other? Like I added 5 plus 3 and it equaled, you know, so that said one thing on AI. And then another thing was sentence frames and starters. So having it visual, they're very visual related things, like sentence stems, like I see blank. So I see the number 7. So they can like even like basic conversations with each other. I know that is 7 because like that's a sentence they can fill out. And then another thing they said was gestures and body language. Explicitly teach and use consistent gestures. You know, crossing your arms for no, thumbs up for correct, chopping motions to separate. I mean, anything that's gesture based, which I think you guys
A
do.
lot of ours is gestures for that kid too. Like we'll say, or for him at least, like we'll say like, okay, do you understand? And he'll do thumbs up or like not do it at all, and he'll make a face, and we could kind of just read his like his expression on. We can like, especially because I've been in there for like a couple months now, so it's like I'm able to kind of read it better than most other people. So it's like, but like the thumbs up like lets us know like, okay, I'm good, like I got this.
Yeah. And then like I mean, it's explicit instruction for vocabulary is important for all of us, but I like if you want your kids to be able to talk with vocab, it's got to be pre-taught and reviewed and reviewed and continued, you know, like
like the teacher I'm with, like she'll pull like students and like work with them, like to do one-on-one with them, like every once in a while, just like to get data too, but like also just to work with them.
This one says model and expand. When a student offers a simple response, because remember we're trying to get them to talk, and they're going to be as simple as possible, the kids you have, repeat it back to them and expand on it slightly to you're almost like the hand over hand to model. Did you add 3 plus 2 and it equaled 5? You know, like I don't know how you would further. Oh yes, you're right. You added this. You used addition. Like I don't know. It sounds like I'm simplifying it, but you I know you know what I'm talking about, Hannah, because you work with those kids.
So like I'll be like, okay, we started with the first number is 3. Like okay, now we need to add 5 more. So let's add 5 more things.
More total equal, and then getting them to set, and then try to like
all together. Like we've been using like, all right, now what? Like we'll say like, Alana has like 5 books, and then John has 3 books. How many do they have all together?
Yeah,
because them like together, like okay, like, and then we'll count.
So I have an idea. So you said that, and they said I don't know what numbers you said. So let's say the answer was 3, and they're like 3. You could say they had 3 all together, and then they could repeat that back. Oh yeah, they had 3 all together. So you're getting, you know what I mean? You're like facilitating.
Yeah. So like we'll say that, and then I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna count them all together, and then be like, count Alana's, and then continue counting with John's, and then be like, okay, we have 8 all together.
Yeah. So like that modeling and just like,
Yeah.
try to,
'Cause
oh,
we'll-
yeah, you said it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Sticker for you.
Because
It's
like
a
we make them like
couple-
we have them count with us. I'm like, okay, count with me all together, like and
Yeah.
they'll count with me. And if they don't, I'm like, okay, let's start over.
Mhm. Okay, so math discourse wise, what did I say about my experience? I wrote that I just put a couple things I feel like I do lots of turn and talk to encourage all students to talk, and that's kind of just something I've done always in all subjects. I just think it keeps kids more on task and focused and engaged. In the lesson, I told my student teacher I had just left. She's going to go to the middle school. She's going to be a middle school teacher.
Oh,
But they have to have experience in the 4th or 5th grade classroom. So
Oh,
she
okay.
finished up her however many weeks they have to be with me, 6 weeks or something.
Okay.
And so that was one of her final things. I was like, your kids are going to get squirrely if you don't get them to interact with each other when you're trying to get everyone. Because that's the same kids trying to yell out the answers. And I was like, instead of just calling for the whole class to answer, say turn and talk about blah, blah, blah. Then everyone's talking. Everyone gets to turn because they were so excited about the science lesson, but they wanted to all yell it out at each other and stuff. And I was like, use the turn and talk for the love of God. It really makes a difference, I promise. I wrote, I review norms before a lesson, expectations of respectfully agreeing and disagreeing. Sometimes I write sentence stems on the board if I'm worried, or sentence starters on the board if I'm worried that they're not going to be able to like get on the right track of what I want them to see. And I've gotten better at giving wait time. It can be hard to get the fast students to wait for others, not distract them while they're waiting on others to solve. That's been a learning curve for my kids this year because I've got like, everyone's below grade level or like way below grade level, and then I've got like 3 on grade level. So like as soon as I teach something, those 3 are like, I got it, we're good. I'm like, okay, but you were the minority in this classroom. So finding ways to like, how do they help others? How do they when I pose like the more abstract or more difficult questions there, I get them to do a lot more of the in-depth explanation because they can like more in-depth explain what I'm expecting them to say. And then once they see the pattern or whatever, then someone can bounce off the more on grade level kid and be like, oh, I see how KJ saw that. He saw that, they can say it in their own way. It's not quite as advanced. So I'm trying to find some ways to get them all because there are all so many different levels.
Yeah. I'm laughing because like one of our students' name is KJ. So it's just,
yeah. So with you, Hannah, I mean, you probably don't intend to be in the special. I mean, you might. I don't know. I can't make assumptions here. But what is your dream grade to teach, or like, do you want to do gen ed? What do you want to do?
I've never even really thought about it. Like I like being in special education. It's more so like the support the lack of support that we get. But like I would love to be in gen ed. Like I love the students in my special education class now. So I wouldn't want to be in a special education teacher just because it's like obviously the students I'm gonna get are gonna be completely different.
Right.
So I'm like,
yeah, every year's different.
And so like I feel like I've always wanted to do general education like for like 2nd or 3rd grade.
Yeah.
Because they're still like sweet little babies, but they're like also old, like like you can have a conversation, you can talk to them. And
yeah. What was the grade you did student teaching with?
for my internship, like my senior year, I did it with like a 2nd grade class.
2nd grade, yeah.
And I really liked it. I really loved it.
Yeah. Because it just asks, if you have not had experience, which we kind of talked about, you haven't had a lot, neither of you have had a lot of experience to be able to do it too much just because you're newer to teaching. Share where you think you may be able to include math discourse into your current classroom. Livia, is there like a time within your lesson that it works better or it doesn't based on like how the structure of Eureka is?
There's a part, so we do like a launch, which that's more of like, or we do fluency and then a launch and then learn section. And between those, I could probably add some more discourse because that is when we are getting exposed to the new material, but we haven't learned it yet. Sometimes they do throw these like math history in there, and I have not had success implementing them. It's gone awful. Like one time it was about how the Ethiopians did math. I end up skipping them. I'm gonna be honest.
Probably like I could see some Because that could get a cool conversation going.
It could. But then they just get off on these little tangents. And I think my problem, like I have to have those expectations, like, hey, we're talking about math.
Yeah, not like, yeah, let's focus how this relates to math.
Yes.
Okay, so what do you think are some struggles and difficulties of implementing math discourse in a math class? So some of those things that are going to make it hard.
Well, I guess specific, I think I've already kind of talked about difficulties for me, like implementing in my classroom, just because it's like that's like them explaining like their thinking is very complex to them. Like,
right,
you know, everything we do is like we have to do it very simple. Like we have to do it this like step by step, and so if we have too many steps for them, we lose them. Like they're
and that's true for
like,
some students that are even in the gen ed classroom.
yeah.
Anything multi-step wise, yeah. But do you think what challenges do you think would be possible for, say, you did have a gen ed class?
Mm-hmm.
We thought about what about math discourse
Mm-hmm.
is the tricky part, or
I guess I'm trying to is them like understanding how to explain like everything, like specifically come from me too, because like I've always had a hard time explaining how I did stuff like for math. So it's like I feel like there's gonna be that student that's like, I don't know, I just got that answer, like I just did it, and that's how I got that answer.
Yeah, that relates to a comment I made that students may feel criticized or embarrassed to speak out to the whole class.
Mm-hmm.
Or also the note students may have difficulty explaining their solutions, maybe not aware of the thought processes or how they should communicate them. That's like what you just said, Hannah.
Yeah.
And then I made a note to help those kids. Teachers must provide resources for students like vocabulary charts, strategy charts, number lines, physical materials, virtual manipulatives that can make the ability to talk about it easier, like having that word wall to be like, what's the word I need to use? Or like I talked about with your kids, like the sentence stems, those kind of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, my biggest, I was just saying, not having everybody participate because they are nervous. I think creating a safe environment is the biggest deal with this math discourse.
For sure. Yeah, you've got to have that classroom. You got to have the relationship piece down. Because yeah, I could see certain teachers not like being really successful at math discourse based on their teaching style, and some teachers that wouldn't be great at it. And those kids don't want to. What did I write? I wrote, some students are going to sit there after being given a problem and not know how to even start. And so if the first part is, hey, solve it how you would, and then we're going to have a discussion about it, the teacher is going to need to step in, provide some guidance for those students. Obviously, once they get going, I mean, for some that are easier questions, sometimes it's just like the sentence stems, like, can you get them to verbally tell you how they solve the problem? Sometimes when a kid is able to talk through how they're solving it, they can figure out their own misconceptions. They're like, oh, wait, that doesn't make sense. Hang on, I'm doing that wrong. When they can hear themselves. And then I made a note, I think it was on her part, one of the slideshows that did work for me, to not use IRE. That was the one I think she was like talking through the basics. And maybe it was her lecture. It was the video. That's why it worked. Because I could see the videos. It says do not use IRE, which is the initiate, respond, evaluate, because that's just calling on students to answer. And then kids who get it incorrect can be, just become discouraged and stop trying. Or students who need more time don't benefit from this. So like that was the traditional way when I was in school, or even in the past that I've done when I first started teaching, just calling out students, saying the classroom to the class, you're expecting everyone to solve it. They're not all solving it, by the way, if they're pretending. They're not. they're tricking you. They're good fakers. We know this. And then just calling on students to answer. And then you've got a kid that gets it wrong. And then what if you're like, oh, nope, you got it wrong. Then it's when they can talk to each other, it's less embarrassing if they get it wrong. Like I had a couple of kids do that today when it was a lot of turn and talk between questions, because I was like having them do the arm symbols, and then they'd solve, and then I was like, discuss to see if you guys all agree on the same answer at your table. And it was a lot easier for a kid to get it wrong at their table and be like, look, can you show me how you did it? Where do you think I messed up? And they'd like show each other instead of having to do it in front of the class.
Yeah, so and then they're not being corrected in front of
the class. Like because math discourse doesn't have to happen as a whole class. I mean, a lot of these things we read in videos we saw sounds like it's being done on a rug, like whole class. And I'm like, that's not realistic in my classroom. I see value in groups. That's
Especially because, like, as someone, like, I was always, like, I never like speaking in front of people. So it's like,
Yeah.
I always, like, I appreciate, like, that, like, doing that.
Yeah, you'd rather talk to a
small
kid near
group type
you than
thing.
have to say it to the whole class. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
like, and then,
class, like,
then you feel like everyone's staring at you, and, like, there's so
Yeah.
many people. A small group, you're like, okay, I can actually, like, look you in the eye and know you're not, like
yeah,
off
they're
in
much
the,
more
like, in the
comfortable
far
and
corner, like, whispering about me or talking.
they're much more comfortable and vulnerable. I've got like a couple kids that are notorious for sitting there like not listening. They have attention issues or are on in the RTI process, like they're lower kids, and doing it that way engages all the kids, whether they're sped. I mean, I don't know. I just see it as it doesn't make sense for why teachers don't, the ones that don't do it. It's like, why would you? I don't know. So yeah, not do the IRE, the initiate, respond, evaluate, and then don't use funneling. And that's like when you're over scaffolding and you're like, oh, they're not getting it. So, pushing them like, well, do this. And I'm such, I have a problem with this.
Yeah.
You're not getting it. So, Olivia knows what I'm talking about. Like,
No, when I read both of those, I was like, oh, okay, I feel targeted.
Whoops. And then it eventually just leads the kid to the correct answer. Like, it is way out of my comfort zone this year to like step back and to see if they can figure it out and like see what conversation comes off of each other. Yeah. I mean, there's still times I use both those strategies, but it's not near as much. Trying to be more aware of letting kids think critically, letting them reason upon, get off each other, think off each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so going on to the two strategies that she wanted us to look at, the which one doesn't belong and the number talks. So what are your thoughts on which one doesn't belong?
I feel like I like it just because like it gives the students like, I'm trying to think. Let me find like the one, like at least on the website, like to give me kind of, let me explain my thinking. Like one of them, it shows like 4 numbers and it will say like which one doesn't belong. So it could either be like, oh, one number is odd, or like one of the numbers only is like a divisible by 2 or whatever. Or
There's different answers that could be right.
Yeah, there's no one correct answer.
Yeah, depending on what you justify.
Yeah, like how you just like, and then they're required to justify their, like it requires them to like be like, oh, why do you think that doesn't belong?
Yeah, and then another kid can be like, well, I saw this one doesn't belong for this reason. I'm like, well, technically, you're both right. You're right.
So like,
and if you're using that rule, you're right. That doesn't belong. So that's why I made like the comment on my notes that everyone participates. All kids are engaged.
Yeah.
Everyone can be included. Every ability level. You can't really be wrong as long as the thing you're saying doesn't belong is for what reason.
Yeah.
It's a safe space kind of question.
Yeah, because I always feel like kids are always afraid to like answer out loud because like they're like, oh, what if I get it wrong? There is no wrong answer.
Those, yeah. As long as it's not like, oh, it's that one because it's, some, I don't know, it has nothing to do with the topic. You know what I mean? Like, because it's purple and I'm like, we're not doing colors, we're doing numbers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They would have to be like so off base to get something like that wrong.
Some of mine, whenever we've done which one doesn't belong, they'll be like, they all don't belong. I'm like, okay, I'm sorry, you're just so smart. Like,
yeah. Have you done some?
I have 1 or 2.
Mm-hmm.
Are they part of your, is it in math or?
It is in math. It's just part of our curriculum. Okay. But it would be like showing different ways you could break down a number.
Okay.
So one could be in place or not place value, but different places. One could be a picture. One could be just the actual number.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's not included in like some of these things we're doing in class. I'm like, oh, cool, that's embedded in the state units, and like other things, I'm like, oh, cool, that's embedded in state units. This one, that strategy is not. So I'm glad we found this website. So Dr. Chang, if you're watching, we could not get your website link to work. I emailed about it to you yesterday, but we did look up Google and we did find, I believe, what you were referring to. I don't know where it went. So it's the WODB is like the name of the website, but it's not like the link. The link is called talkingmathwithkids.com/WODB. We tried the one you put in and it like just didn't load, or it was like an AI thing or something.
Yeah.
So at the end, we're each going to do a quick lead a lesson on that. And then did they ask if we've ever done the which one doesn't belong?
It just said, what are your thoughts? And
What are your?
then
Yeah, I don't think it says if you do. I have not done many of them. I've
I
done them.
think on question 10 it says ask if anyone has
Oh, yeah, I'm
talked
jumping.
or
Like
which
that.
one. So like I think like and then
I guess we'll have a quick talk then on what are your thoughts about number talks.
I feel like it was
I
like it gives a chance for like discussion with like how
The way
they
it's set up
do-
is like discussion based, yeah, which is why she probably put this strategy along with.
and I
the
feel like it was kind of similar, like say kind of like very loosely here, but like kind of similar to like the what was it? Which one doesn't belong, because it's like they're both like discussion, like requires you to discuss, like explain your
yeah,
thinking,
they're discussion based, yeah.
or like they're connected, like like number talks, it's like teaching you how to explain your thinking, or
think it's a great way to see the number sense of each kid.
Yeah, like the basics of decomposing numbers, composing numbers. It's mental math more
Yes.
based, right? Yeah. And that's hard for some of my kids. Oh my gosh, mental math. What did I make a comment on? So number talks can be the same thing as subitizing, but like subitizing is, if you've ever seen, I did it for God, it was so many years ago. It's like these cards and like dots are put on it, almost like dice, and they have to be able to like say how many dots they are quick. Like it's mental math based, and then it's like add this one and this one. It's not quite the same thing, but I've heard them like referred to it as the same thing, or maybe they're like it's one of the like levels of going into number talks, and then the numbers get more difficult as you get older. I made a note that if you write the computation for the number talk like horizontally side by side, so like 188 plus 230 side by side instead of above each other, because if we put them above each other on the board, the kids immediately are carrying, regrouping, like they're not trying to do anything mental. So the whole point of number talks is to get them talking about the math after doing it mentally. Then they got to get out of the that wanting to put them above each other and actually work on decomposing the number, putting together parts. I took a screenshot of one part from the book that stood out. It says an example that illustrates this idea is a common strategy for solving the problem 12 times 49. See, I haven't thought about how to use number talks all the way up into 5th grade. Like to me, it's a younger grades thing that you do at like the beginning of math. It's like not like kind of like calendar time. Now calendar time is more with like younger that's more teacher led, whereas I think number talks is more getting them to talk with each other. But anyway, this strategy, this kind of like, I was like, I can actually do this because these are harder problems. But it illustrates the idea that a common strategy for solving the problem 12 times 49. If students think about multiplying by a multiple of 10, they often change the 49 to 50. So we're doing originally 12 times 49, but you're trying to do it mentally, right? And I'm like, what? That's like way too high in my head to try to do by my, my head. That's what my kids are going to say too if I were to like try to get that. So then they're supposed to see 49 as they could go up to 50. And then just multiply 12 times 50. And that gives you 600 because 12 times 5 is 60, and see one more zero.
And then subtract by 12.
And then remove one group of 12. And so that's how you can do it mentally in your head. And I was like, I would not have even thought to go that hard of a question.
See, when you said that problem, I did it in my head 49 times 10, and then like
490, and then two more groups of 49.
Yeah,
but then I still wouldn't be able to do that all in my head. I could try.
I don't know. For some reason, I was able to do that in my head. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't know how I was able to do that.
So you'd be a kid that is good at mental math. I am not a mental math kid because I didn't do it much
I
growing
could
up.
never explain like how I got to an answer because it's like I just good at mental math.
But I feel like kids these days are more like that, can do that. Whereas I was so used to just like teachers up there teaching, I must be robot and write what they tell me to do and do. Like I couldn't think for myself. I would have struggled with number talks or any of this math discourse based things.
Yeah.
So
it's a way for me, like I would be like when I do my student teaching, like a lot of that, like when they would do their math tests, a lot of kids wouldn't write down how they got there. So then we would pull the kid, be like, okay, like how did you get this answer? And then we're like, okay, like, and we'd write it down. They're like, does this look right? Like, is that like explain? And they're like, yeah, it does. Like a lot of times they'd be like, oh, okay. Like some of them wouldn't get it, but like others like would like it would click for them.
Yeah.
I have a student, I need to send you her work, but her number sense is almost there. So instead of like multiplying like most people do, she breaks it apart so differently. And
Mhm.
like she gets the wrong answer, but it's like just like one step that she missed. And
Yeah.
I just want to show y'all like how high her number sense is. It's just not all completely there.
That's cool though. Okay, so you've used the which one doesn't belong before. How about number talks, Livy?
We in third grade with Miss McDonald, we actually did. She has that same book Dr. Chain was talking about. So
Yeah.
if you ever need that book, you can just go next door.
Yeah.
But I liked them.
Yeah.
It does show different ways and different strategies to find it, and it makes you think out of the box. You're like,
Mhm.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, that mental math. So like I said, I've done number talks in the past. I have not so much. I have not definitely done it since I've started 5th grade.
Yeah.
So something I can add to my need to try list as well, as long as with the which one doesn't belong. I've done like which one doesn't belong. I feel like maybe when I've taught invertebrates, vertebrates, like things related to classifying animals when it came to science, but there's so much you can do with it with math, and I didn't realize till I found this she showed us this website. So that's definitely something I'm going to try to do. And it says, is it something you would want to try? Of course. Yeah. I'm trying to increase the rigor in class discussion this year. So I definitely think I'm going to try them. Do you think your kids could do it, Hannah?
I don't know. Like
if you look through the website, you've got like the really basic ones. Like go to like the basic shapes category one. Do you feel like you could pull that up and be like, which one doesn't want? And I wonder what they would say. I would just be curious. I want to be a fly on the wall one day in your class.
for real.
That one's dark. I mean, could they like look at like there's a picture I'm looking at one right now, and it's like 3 of
Yeah,
them.
they
are
probably
white.
would be like. Yeah, they'd be like.
Wait,
one
those
has-
are white. That one's black. Yeah.
Yeah, they wouldn't even like do the colors.
But like, do you guys see which one I'm talking about? If you click on the shapes one,
Yeah,
it's like the orange,
yeah.
orange background. Like, so that stands out to me. But honestly, if you look at it closer, what stands out to me is the fact that one's a hexagon and the others are triangles.
right.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm talking about. How like every kid could say possibly something.
Yeah.
And then besides that, I don't know what else. I mean, I don't see out of the other triangles if something else couldn't belong.
Maybe like the photos, like just like
that one's scalene, that one's scalene, that one's isosceles, and that one's not even triangle, so that doesn't work.
yeah, I was like the ones at least for like where like after the one after expressions, just like photos.
Yeah,
We could kind
they
of
would like that a bit.
I could probably kind of use that as like a lead into like.
Yeah, which one doesn't belong? Well, those are donuts, and that one's a coffee cup.
Yeah, like
You
because, like,
could just to get them to start talking to each other some.
yeah, like just start that discussion. They're like, okay, that's what we mean. Like, what's different about
Yeah.
this like object or this picture?
Yeah.
Especially because there's a lot more to like for them to look at. Like, there's more.
Right.
It's more concrete for them. Like, it's stuff that they see. So they're like, oh, that looks different than.
Yeah. Okay. I think we're at the bottom of the notes where we just need to do the tries. Yeah. Okay. So let me see if I can share my screen, and I'll lead real quick, and then y'all, I think we'll lead one, and we will wrap it up here shortly. Share screen. Will you work? Let's see. It's not Gemini. It's not. Which website is it? Oh, come on. Tab. Never understood that when I hit share, I don't seem to see all my screens. I see like my notes from this. I see the Gemini. I see. It's not that. I have a lot of tabs up. That's probably part of the problem. Entire screen? Can I just show my window? Okay, let me see what that does. All right, y'all just currently see us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, now it's starting to show your screen.
Okay.
Okay.
So okay, can you see this?
Like, that's like Matrix.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, there's gotta be a way. Oh my god. Okay. I was like, because I could not find the tab. It had all my other tabs I currently.
I was like, what?
yeah, that was pretty fun. All right, cool. All right. So, class, look at these numbers, and I want you to think which one doesn't belong, and I want you to come up with a good reason why. Think about it before you share, okay?
The fourth one, because
What
it had
number?
3 numbers on it.
Ooh, yeah, that is a 3-digit number. That's a good thought.
I thought that first, and then I was like 9 because it's a 1-digit
I
number.
didn't even see.
Ah, okay. So
Or
you're right, because I can't choose the 2-digit numbers if I'm thinking in digits, because
Yeah.
36 and 99 are 2-digit numbers, but 9's a 1-digit and 123 is a 3-digit number. You're right, guys.
then I thought about 3 plus 6 is 9.
Oh,
And you had 9 in 3 boxes, and then 3 plus 2 plus 1 is just 6.
yeah. So you're right.
Oh, even
That's a really interesting thought too. They all have 9s in them if you add them. You know what? I'm not a student, so I can't say what I was thinking. I'm gonna pretend I'm a student for a second because I'm just curious. So I'd have to check with this one, but 9 is a multiple of 9. 36 is a multiple of 9. 99 is a multiple of 9. Is 123 a multiple of 9?
I don't know. I'm gonna pretend to not be a student for a second, just so we can like be for sure about this.
It is.
It is?
No,
It
wait,
is?
no, it doesn't. It's not.
It's
It's
not.
not. That one doesn't belong. So you could say that kid
I
might.
was right about it.
The
120.
kids more advanced might say,
Yay.
well, 120. That's a multiple 9. That's a multiple 9. That's a multiple 9. No, 123 is not.
I feel like a child right now too, like cheer clapping about that.
Yeah,
but-
you're like, yay.
Yay.
Yeah, you're right. It's just a 3-digit. I mean, really, every ability level could have done what was just done, which is cool. Okay, let me unmirror so the next person can go, oh my God, that looks crazy. Now I got to figure out. You are presenting. Stop presenting.
Do you want to present next, Hannah, and then I can just
Don't do it how I just did it.
until
I'm not sure I can do that. But
I don't know. There was a special quality to get that to do that.
Okay, hang on. Here. Let's see if we can do this.
I mean, mine should have worked. Like when I
Allow-
hit share, you can choose tabs, but that tab was not showing up. So I was like, there's got to be another way around.
Oh, wait. Okay. Wait.
Maybe. Now it's just showing us. Oh yeah, you got to pull it up on the other tab.
On my screen. What?
Yeah, you did the same thing.
Wait, so how do I do? I'm
So
sorry.
now choose the tab.
Can you see
There you
it?
go.
Like whatever. I just clicked a random tab. Can you see it?
Okay. Yes, we can see it now.
All right, class. So, which one does not belong? These cards.
Well, one of them's black and the other 3 are red.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Do you see that, Libby?
I do see that.
All right. What else do y'all notice is different about the cards? Which one doesn't belong?
3 and 10 are both hearts, but
But that one, yeah, if I got to choose just one. Oh, wait, I see it. 3 and 7 and 5 are odd numbers. And 10
oh,
is
that's
even.
good.
10 is even.
Oh yeah, that is a
Yeah.
great. Hey, good job.
Yeah, I'm not sure what else there would be. I think that's what I mean. For the kids are going to immediately see the black and be like, "Oh, that one's,"
Yeah.
to think deeper. And for a minute there, I was like, "Oh no, that one." You're right.
Yeah.
The hearts are there to, but I think that's what they were wanting them to see. Is this would be
Yes.
for it's for younger grades? You've got odd, and then one.
Oh. Okay.
All right, you gotta hit stop the share if you can find your way down
Yeah,
there.
before I give myself a headache. Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, there we go.
Okay.
I was like, wow.
See, it's happening for y'all too, so I'm not the only
Okay.
person.
Wow.
Okay.
I think it's
what's-
because it's like showing the recording screen too.
Maybe
So,
I don't
like
know.
it just keeps going, you know.
Yeah.
Can y'all see this? The numbers?
Yes.
Or the
Yeah.
pictures?
Those look like complicated shapes or hard shapes. Dang.
A little bit.
Oh.
So my first thought when I look at which one doesn't belong is that one is a 3D shape and the others are 2D shapes.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
agree
It's
with that.
one has no sides.
Yeah, the
like,
circle
the
doesn't
circle
have
has
Circle has no sides.
the circle has no straight lines, yeah.
Mhm.
So that would mean the circle's not a polygon, right? Because a
Oh yeah,
polygon
the polygon
Correct,
is more
because
than
polygons don't have curves.
curved lines, they have to be closed shapes with straight lines. So yeah, you
One-
could say the circle's not a polygon, but the others are. Well, I guess
one of them isn't color.
Yeah,
yeah, there is
I
one.
noticed that as well with the white.
Yeah, one is not in color and the others are.
Uh,
3 have like a lot of right angles in them. So you've got like
Yes.
square, rectangular prism, one that isn't something I know. I don't know how many sides it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sides. So hexagon, pentagon, I mean, but with it does have some right angles. And then whereas the circle not.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, y'all did a good job.
Yay! Thank you.
Yay.
I'm gonna pull up this other PowerPoint.
Oh yeah, because I don't have access to it because I don't have PowerPoint, Dr. Chang. I've had to beg people to help me.
Can y'all see that?
Yes.
Okay, great.
Now, when I download it, I can see like the first page, but like I don't have the application on my computer. That being a work computer, it's like, nope, you're not allowed to. Not allowed to see that.
Here's the subitizing.
Yeah.
Kinda
Okay. So it is a younger grades. Yeah, that's what I was talking about with subitizing.
Which I found the subitizing with multiplication where there's say 5 times 8, there'll be 5 boxes and then there'll be 8 in each, which is cool to do.
Just don't be able to say it quickly.
Do y'all care what grade we do?
I'm sorry, guys. I'm like dying over here. Okay.
No,
No,
it's
I
fine.
don't care.
Okay.
We're almost to the end. We're almost there.
We can do this one.
Okay. Am I supposed to lead this one or are we all supposed to do one?
It doesn't matter. We can all do one.
Okay.
Do you want to do subtraction or addition?
Sure. We'll do subtraction. It's harder.
Okay. We'll go to this one over here since it's easier. 14 minus 10. These. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but see, that my brain wants to do easy stuff with that.
Um.
I don't know. When you did the 61 minus 29, I already had a strategy I was thinking about.
Okay, let's do it.
Okay, so I want to do this mentally in my head, right?
Okay.
So I see if I were to change 61 to 60 and move that 1 into 29 up to 30, I would get 30 as my answer.
Oh my gosh. Wait.
See, that's what I would have done too.
Yeah.
Let's actually
And my brain, like at first when I thought it, I was like, is that right? Is that something you can do? I was like, yeah, I'm making one number go down one number, one digit, or not one digit, but one number, and the other one go up by that amount. So I'm going to have the same difference.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, 62 minus 30.
You could almost do kind of the same strategy, but add like if you wanted it
Add. Oh wait,
equal.
no.
Take away 2.
But you
and
can
get
do that one easily.
minus
though.
30 to get 30, and then add the 2 back at the end.
But I
to
feel
get
like you could do that one easily though. You can do 2 minus 0. 2.
Yeah.
You can visualize it like how we did.
It's 3.
Yeah,
so
growing
30.
up. I know there's 28 between them because the 2 and the 0 mean the difference between 10 and 2, which is 8. And then but I know it's not 38. And I don't know how to explain that. I know it's not 38. So, I know one. So say I start at 30, I can go up by 10 to 40 and up by 10 again to 40, 50. Wait, no, that's not the right number. Okay,
Yeah,
so I'm changing my strategy. Okay, I'm going to change my strategy. Okay, so I'm going to start at 30. I'm going to go, I'm trying to find the amount between them, right? I'm trying to find the difference without just mentally. So 30, so 10 more is 40, another 10 more is 50, another 10 more is 60. So I've gone 30 and I go 2 more jumps. So the answer is 32.
Yeah.
And originally I thought it was 28, I'll be honest.
Okay. So that would be like almost showing it on a number line when like they were talking.
Is the answer 32 or is the answer 28?
32?
Oh, okay. I don't know why I want to think 28.
Because I think you saw that too, and it was kind of like
I don't know.
messing with like you kind of like.
I was like 10 and 2 make
I
8.
could see. I know. I could
Yeah,
see
that's
where like how you. I could see like how you got that though. Like
Yeah, and it was wrong. And I talked myself through it like a student would. I talked through my misconception.
Yay.
Right.
How did y'all see it?
I don't know.
I took the 2 away, so it would be 60 minus 30.
Mm-hmm.
And that
And
was
put
like
it into the answer.
easier in my head. 6 minus 3 is 3. Add the 0 back. And then I added the 2. at
You're
the
right.
end.
You could just take out the 2 and do 60 minus 30 is 30 and then put the 2 back in the answer, 32.
Or vice versa, you could do 30 and add 2 and 62
Mhm.
minus 32.
Yeah.
And it's
Oh. Huh. Okay. I like that. All right, the next one.
All right.
I know my answer is bigger than
20.
75 because
30.
59 is like 50 and 27 is like 25. And that's like, I always think of everything in quarters. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I really do. So I looked at that and I was like 50 and 25, 75. Oh, we were subtracting. Oh my God.
Wait, what?
I'm a bad student, guys. Bad student here. I've taught all day and I should not be doing this. Okay. Subtraction. Subtraction.
32.
3 up from 27 is 30. And 30 to 50 is 20. So that's 23. And then 9 more. God, that's hard though. Oh, it's not
This
a good.
is, yeah.
Not
My
for this.
strategy did not work very well for this one.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I would just do 9 minus 7 is 2. And 50 minus 20 is 30
Yeah.
on that one. I would decompose them into, 20 and 7 and 50 and 9. Then do 9 minus 7 is 2. And 50 minus 20 is 30.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what I would do.
I don't know how I would do it.
I don't know how I would do it. That's gonna be some kids right there. I don't know how I would do it.
I don't know. I just know it. I just know it's 32. Or
Do you? See, I
It's
looked
not
at it and apparently was
32.
adding the problem.
I just know it's 32. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
This is hurting my brain.
I know. It's late in the day. Okay, let's wrap it up. Here we got this. Okay, 49 minus 17.
Almost the same thing. If the bigger numbers, like, just
Oh, because both of them are 10 less than the other one. So then it's just 10 less than 32.
a good catch, Hannah.
Ew.
What? No, I still don't see it. What?
So like 49 is 10 less than 59, right?
Yeah.
17 is also 10 less than 27. So then the answer would be also 10 less than that answer.
Oh, it's connected to the problem before it.
Mm-hmm.
59
Which now that I look at that, the first 2 are connected as well.
Oh my gosh, I didn't. That's so
That's cool though. I like that the kids would. I hope they would put the attention in it enough to be like, think through. I don't know. I could see my
I
kids
just
listening
like
and
had
going,
a
that's stupid. I'm not doing it. Those are baby questions. Or like, I'm gonna write it on my board. No, you have to do it in your head. You have to do it in your head and you have to be able to talk about what you did.
Mm-hmm. And I love how I'm like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense.
But you're right. You can see the connection between. They're going to be the same answer. One of my kids would see that. One of my kids would be like, "Oh yeah, that 59, 50, yeah." So that's going to be this. They're going to be the same answer because they both went down by 10. So it's
Yeah.
still 32. Wait, was that what we said the answer was? 32.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like that. All right. I think that's enough.
Yeah, that's definitely enough. There are some with multiplication,
Oh gosh, no.
but I don't know if our brains can handle that. And
No.
Barely
mm-mm.
handle addition or barely. That wasn't even addition.
Okay, but you think
Okay.
that McDonald has this book in her room, the same book?
she does.
Okay, cool. I might just like, since I can't open up Dr. Chang's thingamajig, I might go to her room and ask if I can make copies of some of the pages that have the actual examples in it, you know?
Yes.
And I could probably,
only know
honestly,
that because she gave it to me to read, and I did not ever open that book to read.
she's like, this is great. You'll love this. And you're like, totally, we'll do this.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
scream, bro.
In my life. Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, we will not see each other again until November.
All
I wish
right.
you the best of luck with whatever project we have coming up next. I'm not even sure with this one because we got to focus on the literacy stuff
Oh.
coming up.
When's the as I saw the literacy one, I still haven't seen that presentation.
Here, let's end this one and we can have a quick talk about our other class. All right, bye, Dr. Chang.